Hi, welcome back to CBSE Board Economics. Today we'll discuss a numerical from budget deficit. Before we go to the numerical, let me revise. In budget deficit, there are three deficits we talk about, and this year you just have to know the meaning of three deficits. That's it, not beyond that. Which are the three deficits you have in the budget? The first one you have is revenue deficit. The second one is fiscal deficit, and the last one is primary deficit. So what are the meanings of revenue deficit, fiscal deficit and primary deficit? What is revenue deficit? Revenue deficit is the excess of expected revenue expenditure over revenue receipts. So revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. I repeat, revenue deficit is the excess of revenue expenditure over revenue receipts. Revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. That's it. Excess of revenue expenditure over revenue receipts. What is fiscal deficit? Fiscal deficit is the difference between the total expenditure in the budget and total receipts excluding borrowings. The difference between total expenditure. Total expenditure includes capital expenditure and revenue expenditure over total receipts. Total receipts include revenue receipts and capital receipts. Just keep in mind, excluding borrowings, all we are taken into consideration. So in simple words, we can say fiscal deficit is nothing but the borrowing requirements of the government during the fiscal year. Fiscal deficit is nothing but borrowings. And the last one we discussed it, primary deficit is nothing but fiscal deficit minus interest payments on the fast loan. Fiscal deficit minus interest payments. That is primary deficit. So again repeat, revenue deficit, revenue expenditure minus revenue receipts. Fiscal deficit is nothing but borrowings. That is total expenditure minus total receipts excluding borrowings. And the last one is primary deficit, which is nothing but fiscal deficit minus interest payments on the past loans. We'll see a small numerical here, which is given in one of the sample papers issued by the CBSE. They are asking you calculate fiscal deficit. Rupees in billions. They given you capital receipts at 68, revenue expenditure all in billions, revenue expenditure 160, interest payment is 20, borrowings is 32, and tax revenue is 50, non-tax revenue is 10. Lot many values are given here: capital receipts, revenue expenditure, tax revenue, non-tax. You don't have to do any calculations here. It's just a tricky one. They are given you here borrowings. The government has borrowed 32 billion rupees. When you got borrowings, just pick up this 32. This is the answer. Fiscal deficit is nothing but borrowings. That is rupees 32 billions. That's it. So fiscal deficit is nothing but borrowings. If the borrowings are given to you, straight away take it. That is the fiscal deficit. You don't have to do any calculations unless they give you total expenditure, total receipts, excluding borrowings. You do the calculations. Otherwise, if borrowings are given, that is nothing but fiscal deficit. So that's a short numerical. That's a short video. That's a short class we have. Till we meet next time. Goodbye from Saddam Hussein.